Comedy Unleashed, the free-thinking comedy of the world at the moment. It's really beautiful. They're professional, they're funny, they're on the ball, they're open-minded, and they attract a really intelligent audience and an appreciative audience. And for me, it gives the heart of comedy again. You know, it's just, you can be edgy, although I don't consider them that edgy, really. They're just being comics, the way comedy always was. So I think they're bringing back what was already there.
And as an Irishman yourself, would you say that you were surprised by how Ireland, you know, I suppose official Ireland capitulated to a lot of the woke stuff, even in terms of comedy?
So when I see people trying to get other people shut down and cancelled because they're speaking, because they're telling jokes, that worries me, because if it starts in comedy, where does it end? And yeah, I'm kind of amazed they call them the Fighting Irish. I think there's a lot of Irish that are kind of just sitting back and going along with it. But I like to think there'll be a moment when they go, here, enough of this, snap out of it. And, you know, we'll laugh again, because it's Ireland. We laugh. That's our buzz.
Graham Linehan, you have been one of the most successful comedy writers, probably the most successful comedy writer in Ireland, in Irish history. And yet you found yourself, I suppose, in an awkward position where you've been cancelled for views such as, you know, you can't change sex and crazy notions like that. But what is it like to be back in Ireland and to be doing live shows?
Well, you know, I never did live shows before they took away my ability to write comedy, you know, so I'm not really back in that sense. I've only done a few gigs, and I'm still not very professional as a comedian. I still have to bring a set list on stage and stuff like that. But you know, I get a lot of kind of a good grace from the crowd because they know me. So I have. They say if you've got any kind of a profile, then you have 10 minutes before the crowd starts wondering where the jokes are. So I only ever go on for 10 minutes.
And do you think that perhaps the tide is turning in terms of censorship? Like, obviously there's been quite a dampening of comedy over the last few years, but do you think that may be coming to an end?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one thing is people are sick of losing money, and you know, the woke, I don't know what you would call it, movement has destroyed Disney. It's destroyed. Budweiser is still recovering from their decisions, and you know, any comedian who's woke is a contradiction in terms, you know, because comedy is about making fun of things, and if you can't make fun of everything, then it's not comedy. So I think people will just get sick of it and start voting with their wallets, you know.
And what would you say to anybody who was thinking of coming to Comedy Unleashed?
Just come. It's just comedy. I mean, you know, unfortunately, it has this kind of, it has to brand itself a certain way because it is out of step with everyone else. But comedy clubs, especially in Ireland, are ruled by a bunch of authoritarian lunatics, you know. And so they have a very restricted pool of subjects they can talk about. But Comedy Unleashed, you know, it's just like comedy used to be in the 90s and you know, hopefully will be again in the future.
What's it like navigating a career as a comedian in such an atmosphere of censorship?
So I think it's very much a double-edged sword, because you have, to an extent, you have to kind of watch what you say and limit what you do, but at the same time, because there is this kind of extra tension in the comedic world, you can also have a lot of fun with that. Like, you know, Comedy Unleashed wouldn't exist if it wasn't this kind of climate. So it is a lot of fun, kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit, and it's all, the way I see it, in the name of humor. If it's funny, it's funny. So yeah, so it's quite fun and quite exciting. It almost feels a bit countercultural, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. But also, I almost feel like there's a lot of what I would consider to be kind of good or authentic comedy happening in the clubs around London. So even though there is a general cultural censorship and pushback, a lot of the clubs, especially a lot of the young comedians, are doing great work and just being funny and honest. So I'm kind of hopeful.
What would you say to somebody who, you know, is an aspiring comic but thinks, I'm not going to be able to say what I want to say, I'm not going to be able to make the kind of jokes I really want to? Yeah. Would you have any advice for them?
I would say get as funny as you can and then make whatever joke you can. If you're going to take a big swing, you almost want to be able to make sure that it's undeniably funny. But I think you just got to do it. Like, if you're coming from a place of, I think this is going to make people laugh and I'm doing it with that intention, I would say go for it. And then you might get people who not like it, but that's true with any art form. Not everyone's going to enjoy everything you do.
Alistair, you headlined Comedy Unleashed in Lucan last night. What was the reception like?
Oh, it was tremendous. You know, it was fantastic. It's almost like people enjoy sort of real comedy, you know. It's almost how it is.
And how would you say censorship has affected comedy in general?
It's made it really bad. Like, not in like comedy clubs and stuff, but like the comedy they give people on television. You have to have a certain opinion. You have to think a certain way, and that's just not funny. You need to let people just, say what their truth is.
And were you surprised that there was so much capitulation to some of the woke cancel culture in regards to comedy?
Not really. Like, they sort of don't let you have a career in this industry unless you sort of go along with that sort of stuff. So, I'm not surprised that most people are sort of going along with it, but it would be nice if more people wouldn't.
Andrew Doyle, how has censorship affected your career as a comedian?
I haven't personally been censored because I've set up gigs myself and put shows on, and I haven't relied on promoters and people on the circuit to book me. I've just done it myself. But I've seen a lot of people increasingly being censored, having their shows literally cancelled, not being booked because of their political viewpoint, which really shouldn't be the case when it comes to comedy. The art form doesn't work that way. It shouldn't be just a homogenous set of views that are permitted, or a certain set of targets that you're allowed to mock. It should be, everyone and everything should be open to mockery. So we set up Comedy Unleashed in London in order to have a broad range of comedians of different styles, different views, and it's been really successful as a result. We're not interested in ideology. We're not interested if you're left or right or anywhere in between. We're only interested in if you're funny and if you're an innovative, interesting comedian. It's about the quality, not about the ideology. So that's the way we approach it.
And what was the reception like in Lucan last night?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, what a great gig. Well, lovely venue, lovely people, really open-minded people, ready to laugh. And yeah, it seemed like they were coming along to enjoy good comedy and leave their politics at the door.